It wasn't a policy speech, a campaign rally, or a fiery press conference that caught the nation's attention. It was a baseball cap, a simple hat, but not just any hat. Bright red, crisp white lettering, the unmistakable silhouette of a design that has defined American politics for nearly a decade, except this time, it didn't read "Make America Great Again." It read something else, something sharper, something meant to sting. Governor Gavin Newsom, a man never shy about stepping onto the national stage, unveiled his newest stunt, a line of merchandise deliberately crafted to mimic Donald Trump's infamous MAGA brand. The colors, the font, the swagger, all that. But the words had been twisted, repurposed, transformed into a message that turned Trump's cultural weapon back against him. The crowd watching laughed. Social media lit up in seconds. Some couldn't believe the audacity. A sitting governor, trolling a former president at the very core of his identity. Others saw something more profound, a calculated strike, a reminder that even the strongest image can be mocked, mirrored, and made ridiculous. But this wasn't just a joke. It was a direct strike at Trump's political empire. To understand why this moment mattered, you have to understand the man behind it. Gavin Newsom has long styled himself as more than just California's governor. He is polished, camera-ready, and deliberate in every gesture. Where Trump thrives on chaos and bluster, Newsom projects calm authority, a politician who knows the power of timing, of imagery, of silence as much as sound. For years, he has positioned himself as one of Trump's most consistent foils. When Trump mocked California during wildfires, Newsom stood firm. When the former president derided immigrants, Newsom doubled down on sanctuary protections. At every turn, he has leaned into California's identity as a state that refuses to bend, casting himself as the defender of dignity in the face of mockery and division. But this isn't just about policy. Newsom has mastered the stagecraft of politics. He knows how to look directly into a camera and turn a local moment into a national headline. He understands the symbolic weight of an image, the viral potential of a soundbite, the way optics can move faster than arguments. And now, by hijacking the most recognizable brand in modern politics, Newsom showed he wasn't just governing. He was playing the game on Trump's turf and winning. And just when it seemed Newsom was simply poking fun for Donald Trump, politics has never just been about speeches or policies. It has been about branding, the hat, the slogan, the spectacle. From the very first red cap that read "Make America Great Again," Trump built a movement around an image so simple, so blunt, that it became a cultural weapon. The hat wasn't just fabric. It was identity, loyalty, a badge of belonging. To mock it is to mock the man himself. And no one knows this better than Trump. He has defended his brand like a fortress, suing critics, blasting imitators, and treating the MAGA logo with the same reverence as a flag. To him, the hat is more than merchandise. It's sacred, a symbol of dominance, which is why Newsom's move cut deeper than any policy debate or televised jab. It went after the crown jewel of Trump's empire, his image. The reaction was instant. Trump allies called it disrespectful. Commentators raged that Newsom had crossed the line. Even Trump himself, ever quick to lash out, seemed rattled. For a man who prides himself on being the master of mockery, being mocked in return was intolerable. This wasn't just politics anymore. This was personal. But what happened next turned a trolling stunt into a full-blown political drama. The spark caught fire almost instantly. Conservative media lit up with fury, headlines screaming that Gavin Newsom had disrespected not just Trump, but the millions who wore the MAGA hat like a badge of honor. Pundits on cable news thundered about arrogance, mockery, and California elitism. Trump loyalists took to social media with a vengeance, flooding timelines with outrage and threats to boycott anything associated with Newsom. But on the other side, progressives reveled in the moment. Screenshots of the merch flew across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, each post carrying a mixture of glee and disbelief. Memes multiplied by the hour. Late-night hosts cracked jokes. Even people who rarely tuned into politics suddenly found themselves laughing at the audacity. What had started as a troll quickly became a cultural spectacle. And Newsom? He didn't flinch. Instead of backing down, he leaned in. He doubled down on the rollout, showcasing the merch with a sly grin, treating the backlash as proof of success. He understood that the louder Trump world screamed, the more viral his stunt would become. This wasn't just trolling. It was strategy, turning the power of Trump's brand into a mirror that mocked him at scale. In this cinematic duel, it wasn't just governor versus former president. It was branding genius against branding empire, a contest to see who could command the national stage through sheer symbolism. And then the ripple effects spread far beyond merch sales. By the end of the week, the internet was drowning in parodies. Twitter threads stitched the images of Newsom's merch side by side with Trump's originals, mocking the uncanny resemblance. TikTok creators choreographed skits where the red hat flipped from MAGA to Newsom's rebranded punchline mid-dance. Instagram stories turned the merch into a badge of rebellion, a cheeky signal that the Trump mystique could be toyed with and laughed at. Late-night comedians pounced. Monologues framed Newsom as the rare Democrat who could out-meme Trump at his own game. Meanwhile, conservative commentators seethed, warning that mocking MAGA hats was mocking real Americans. Yet even as they fumed, their outrage only fed the flames. Clips of their anger circulated online, fueling more jokes, more shares, more visibility. Progressive audiences felt vindicated. For years, Trump had wielded humor as a weapon, branding his opponents with nicknames, mocking their looks, laughing at their expense. Now, finally, someone had flipped the script. Even politically neutral observers couldn't help but smirk at the absurdity of it all. The spectacle itself became the story. What had once seemed untouchable, the MAGA brand, was suddenly open to parody, stripped of its invincibility. But the turning point, the moment that no one saw coming, flipped the story upside down. Then came the strike that turned a clever stunt into a masterstroke. Newsom revealed that every dollar raised from the parody merch was being funneled directly into causes Trump had spent years trying to tear down. Immigrant rights groups, climate action initiatives, voter protection efforts. Suddenly, the joke wasn't just funny, it was purposeful. Each hat sold became a symbolic rebuke, a reminder that Trump's imagery could be hijacked and weaponized for the very movements he despised. The announcement ricocheted across social media. Supporters celebrated the twist, posting receipts of their purchases with captions like, "Turning MAGA into money for justice." For progressives, it felt like poetic justice, not just mocking Trump, but outsmarting him. Trump world, however, erupted. Allies cried foul, accusing Newsom of theft, of disrespect, of political theater gone too far. Their outrage, amplified on every channel, only drew more attention to the scheme. In that moment, Newsom's role shifted, no longer just a governor. Trolling for laughs, he appeared as a tactician, bending Trump's most potent symbol into fuel for his own narrative. And yet the real aftermath may matter far more than the merch itself. In the end, what began as a trolling stunt revealed something larger about American politics. Humor, once dismissed as trivial, has become a weapon sharp enough to pierce even the thickest armor of authoritarian bravado. Newsom's parody showed that arrogance can be mocked, that fear can be flipped, that a symbol once wielded to divide can be turned into a rallying cry for unity and dignity. It was more than merch. It was a reminder that creativity can outmatch bluster, that resilience thrives when pride grows too heavy. Because in the end, when power gets too proud, sometimes laughter is the sharpest weapon.